Um, I give title on my paper, Cultural Signification within Interreligious Encounter, Negotiation and Contestation of Identities in the Post-Conflict Ambon. Actually, this is, I always call it as a long-term research project. So the short-term research project result on my dissertation that I have conducted my field research in Pulau Ambon just to research for some data about how effective and how the indigenous Ambonese manage the Pela or Gandong relationship between Muslim and Christian. So I focus on 3 villages, 2 Muslim villages and 1 Christian village. 2 villages, 2 Muslim villages in Lehitu, the northern part of Pulau Ambon. So you can yeah. So this is Ambon Island. So mostly all villages in northern part of Ambon Island are Muslim villages. So only Alang, Liliboy Hatu, and also in the in Teluk Ambon, in shore of Teluk Ambon, we have a so-called Rumah Tiga village. This is a mostly Christian village in Pulau Ambon, in northern part of Ambon Island. So these 3 villages have a Gandong relationship. So they believe that actually a long time ago, long time ago, they have like Gandong relationship or sibling relationship. Wakal, Hitumesing, they are Muslim villages, Muslim communities, and then Rumah Tiga, Christian community. And my research on those villages focus on how they face the modernity. I mean, the modernity is development, national development during New Order, 32 or more than 3 decades of New Order. You know that during the New Order, the regime of New Order implemented the so-called national development, so that they need, also the regime need the national stability by security approach by the government, national government. So they constructed the national structure of the government administration from national until the village level. So, in this case, I found that actually those 3 communities try to adapt their cultural or their tradition, the local tradition, by new interpretation, and they don't neglect completely, totally the modernity. Also, they do not refuse totally their local tradition. They try to use, this is the Pierre Bourdieu mentioned as cultural capital or social capital as tools to reconcile and to re-strengthen their relationship. After more than 3 decades, it has been destructed systematically. So that continue. So I think this is the background of my research. This is about how those 3 villages negotiate their identity each other. And then next, the main my research question is that in what processes, differences and similarities, the Ambonese Muslim and Christians and Lehi to negotiate religion and adat in facing modernization process or social changes of Indonesian society. So the main focus of my project is not only for understand the tradition, but how they reinventing, they reconstructing, reinterpreting the such local tradition as a basis for the new negotiable identity. Yeah, yeah. I use such a theoretical framework, means political anthropology. I have no intention to talk about the political structure, but in political anthropology, it means that I try to understand how they use power and authority based on adat or local tradition, as well as by administration, government administration. So you know, since the Suharto era, there is no raja anymore, or there is only kepala desa. But now, after the local autonomies, the structure of Sanjaya Negeri with raja as the superstructure or the top of local structure, they try to what I call it as the like ambivalence in local context. They try to reintroduce the role of raja, but in facing of the national government, they still use kepala desa. So they play the so-called identity game in this case. Yeah, next. Yeah, I borrow the Pierre Bourdieu picture here just to understand the interrelationship between structure, habitus, practice, and this is like a circle of social structure. Next. Yeah, next. I jump to my thesis. Next. Yeah, I have 5 theses from my study. So the first one, there are 3 main interconnected variables: the formation of cultural and religious identity, dialectics of local and national cultural authorities, and the dynamic of social transformation and concept and praxis of modernity. Next, the second thesis, modernization of Indonesian society signed by the formation of modern nation state of Indonesia brought about implications such as the rationalization of political mechanism. So, using the rationalization by Max Weber, I tend to say that the local people, they have their own rationalization process based on the local tradition. The third thesis, the restructurization of democratic institutions has opened a room for public engagement in implementing government policies at national and local levels. The next one, the emergence of new meanings about structures of local tradition, Pela and Gadong, that cannot be dealt with only as the structural transformation of socio-political institutions, but rather about the impact of state socio-political transformation as a macro dimension which influences power relations and everyday social relations at the local level. And the last thesis, the ontological relations between religions, Islam and Christianity in this case, and local tradition that have been taking place within the dynamic of different contexts in Muslim and Christian communities, etc. You can continue to read it. Yeah, thank you, moderator.
We move to 3 questioners, please. Ernest.